Welcome to the QB Sales Data QuickBooks Link for Act video library. This video will cover how to set up our nightly transaction sync program called QB Transaction Sync on Windows 7 and Windows 2008 servers. So the first step is to download the QB Transaction Sync program. It's actually a separate program, and you can do that from our download install page on our website. Right? So go to qbsalesdata.com, click on the download install button, and down at the bottom there'll be a separate program called QB Sales Data Transaction Sync. Note that this needs to run on a machine that has a QB Sales Data license, right? So if you want to run it on your server, you need to have a licensed copy of QB Sales Data on that machine. Once you download it and install it, you'll get a couple of icons on your desktop. One is the actual program that will run the sync, and another one is a configuration utility. So first you're going to go into configuration utility. So we can double click on that, and we want to click on the add button to add an ACT database and a QuickBooks file. Right? So we can go out and browse for our ACT database that we want to incorporate into the nightly sync. And I'll go do that. Okay, and then I'll have my username and password for ACT. Should be an admin user. And secondly, I'll browse for my company file. Now in QuickBooks, you may not know where your company file is. You can actually pull up QuickBooks and go to File, Open Previous Company, and you need to use the same path that you use in QuickBooks, right? So if it's on the S drive or the T drive, you need to use that same path in our program. Okay, so in our case, it's cusers.document. So I'll go back to my config program, and I'll browse out to the C drive and go to users, documents, and I believe it's QB Sales Data Demo Files, and there's my QuickBooks file. Okay. Now, if you get this file in use, right, you may get that. You actually have to close QuickBooks, select the file again, and now open QuickBooks before you hit save. And note that you do have to be logged into QuickBooks as an administrator for this, because it's going to ask you to build a certificate, so you need administrator privileges. Okay, so if I get the file in use message, I close out of QuickBooks, selected the file. Now I opened it back up before I hit save. One other note is we recommend setting this last sync days to 180. That gets tied back to payments that get applied to invoices. So 180 days is normally a good spread, so you can cover payments that may be 6 months old. You can also check which transaction types you want to bring in each night. You can just check them all, that's the easiest. When I hit save, it should actually prompt me for a certificate in QuickBooks. And there we have that behind the scenes here. So the first time that the program talks to QuickBooks, it wants to create a certificate. After you build the certificate, you'll never have to do this again, right? So that's why we need to be logged in as an admin user. Click on yes, select the admin user here, hit continue, say yes to this screen, and then you're done. Okay. Note that that user that you picked for the certificate, you need to make sure that if someone else logs in as that user during the day, that they log out before they go home, so that the nightly sync program is actually able to log in as that user. So if that person stays in QuickBooks as that user, when the nightly sync program wants to log in at, let's say, 1 in the morning, it's not going to be able to because someone else is logged in. Okay, so when I hit save here, it'll save it, configuration saved. I can hit exit, and now my transaction sync is set to go. Right, so if I double clicked on this program right now, it would actually run my transaction sync. But I don't want to have to manually click on it. I want to have it automatically run at, let's say, 1 in the morning. So to do that, I have to, Windows 2008 and Windows 7 and Windows Vista have a new task scheduler program. So if I click on my start button and I go to all programs, then I go to accessories, system tools, and then task scheduler. Okay, that'll bring up that task scheduler. When it comes up, it may be on this screen. Click on the task scheduler library right here. And then over on the right, you want to create a basic task. Create a basic task. It should prompt you with a wizard. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to say QB sales data nightly sync. And I can hit next. And I want this to run daily. And let's have it run at 1 in the morning every day. Hit next. It's going to start a program. Hit next. And now we browse out. I'll click browse. And under the C drive and program files, if you're on a 64-bit machine, it'll be under program files x386. I'll go to program files, and there will be an EFF solutions QB batch sync. Double click on that, and then you want this QB batch transaction.exe. That's what you want to run every night. Selected that, I hit next, and now I can hit finish. And that is set. Note that there's kind of some flakiness to this task scheduler in Windows 7 and Windows 2008 Server. You do not want to set it to run when you're not logged in. This option here, run only when user is logged in, is the one that will get it to work. So the key here is you need to do a basic task and set run only when the user is logged in. Then if you want to test it, let's say it's going to happen at 1 in the morning, but let's go ahead and run it now. I can right click on it and run, and it actually will kick off that nightly sync program. You'll see here that window will pop up at 1 in the morning, and it'll go ahead and start syncing the customers. You can see that here. So that'll happen each night at 1 in the morning. And that's it. You've set up your nightly transaction sync.